Good evening, everyone, and welcome to my yoga corner. So today's Sunday's Serenity Yoga, and I thought we would talk about compassion and what compassion means to you. The card says, the flow of compassion from me to others begins with how I extend kindness towards myself. And I love that word kindness coinciding with compassion. And I think it's really important during this time that we are compassionate with one another, because we are all having different experiences through this COVID-19 time of life. Everyone is having their own experience. Nobody is right or wrong in their experience because it is their own. And I believe it's important to be compassionate with one another, particularly if someone else is having a different experience than you. You know, you see so many conflicting ways of looking at the situation, and people's perception is based on what they are personally going through. So I don't believe there's a right or wrong way to perceive what's going on for you. And it's finding that compassion for yourself in going through what you're going through. And I just had an experience this weekend with a spray with isopropyl. And, you know, I had a bad reaction to it. It scared me. I was very, very sick. And I just wanted to share that some people can have this reaction, and I was one of them, and it wasn't good. Now, I got lots of comments. Some people share the same experience, and some people have a different experience. But it doesn't make my experience right or wrong. It just was my experience. And for me, the experience that I had with isopropyl inhalation poisoning was very scary for me. Now, my experience may be different than yours, and that's okay. I have very compromised lungs. I have an allergy to perfumes and to chemicals, and my body is very, very sensitive. So somebody else who doesn't have those sensitivities may not have any problem using hand sanitizer or sanitizing spray or bleach wipes or whatever. But I do. So I thought that's a good analogy of or comparison of what's going on with people's experience going through COVID-19 crisis here, is some people are having a totally different experience than other people. Please appreciate other people's experiences and have compassion for them. So the reflection today is what allows my compassion to flow and what prevents me from being considerate. Considerate compassion, kindness, compassion. Let's close our eyes and just think for a moment what that word compassion means to us and how we can extend that compassion first to ourselves and accept our own experience, and then allow other people to have their own experience through this as well. So close your eyes just bring up the word compassion. What comes to your mind when you think of the word compassion? And the second thing I want you to think about is, do you find it easy to be compassionate to people that you agree with, that you feel sorry for, or you understand what they're going through? And do you feel less compassionate for people who you don't understand their situation or what they're going through? And I want you to reflect on that for a moment. And then maybe think about, how can you extend compassion to people that you don't really understand what they're going through? Now we're going to take our reflection into our restorative practice. When you're in your postures or your restorative poses, I want you to think about how you can bring more compassion into your life at this time, for yourself and for your family and for those around you. So let's start with sitting nice and tall with our back straight, and just begin to breathe. Just a nice, gentle breath. And breathe in compassion. Exhale judgment. So our first pose, we're going to take a bolster. Let's start with a really nice restorative posture of side child's pose. So you're going to put your bolster in the middle of your mat. You can use a smaller one. I think today I'm going to use a bigger one. We're going to place our right hip right up to our bolster. Our left leg falls gently over the right. We're going to place both hands on either side of the bolster and bring ourselves down. And just allow yourself to sink deep into your bolster. just for this last moment, really let yourself just sink deeper into this place, into this moment of self-compassion. Let's slowly bring ourselves up. Now, as we bring ourselves up, we're going to just take a moment, come into our tabletop, and do some cow-cat breaths. And then bring yourself back to a flat back. Take a pause. And then we're going to come on to the other side. So I want you to bring your left hip next to your bolster. I'm just going to switch mine around so you can see. Left hip next to the bolster, hands on either side, and bring yourself down. And again, just allow yourself to melt into a moment of compassion. Let's slowly bring ourselves up. We're just going to pause as we bring ourselves up. Take a few deep breaths. Then we're going to come into dragonfly. Bring our bolster into the middle, and we're going to stretch our legs out nice and wide. Take ourselves down onto our bolster. Now you might want to put two bolsters together and really get a nice stretch here as you restore your spine. slowly bring yourself up. I could have stayed in that one forever. But the word that kept coming up for me when I kept asking myself, how can I be more compassionate, is the word acceptance. To accept what I'm going through and being compassionate with myself, and to accept what other people are going through may be different and have compassion for what they're going through. So let's move into our next supported posture. So let's come into supported butterfly. So there's a couple of different ways you can support yourself in this posture. So you can put 2 blocks under your knees like this, or 2 blankets. You can place your bolster under your knees. And if you have 2 bolsters like I do, I'm going to use 2 tonight. So I'm going to put the smaller one under my knees. Then I'm going to put the bigger one on my feet. And I'm just going to come down and relax. So if you don't have 2 bolsters, you can just bring your head down. You can use a block here or here. Or you can even take your bolster and place it in front of your feet and put your forehead on your bolster. So listen to what your body needs tonight. Be compassionate to yourself. And then get nice and comfy in your supported butterfly pose. Let's start to bring our head up nice and slow. And I think it's time we have just a little stretch. Placing our hands together, interlace the fingers, stretch out the arms, deep breath in and out. Bring the arms up, deep breath in and out. Place your right hand beside you, left arm over, stretch from the left hip to the left fingertip. And the other side. and bring it back. I'm going to lay down now. I'm just going to put my big bolster aside. I'm going to place my bolster, or you can use a rolled up blanket, just behind your lower back, just at the base of your spine. And you're going to bring yourself up and then just come into a supported waterfall. Now, if this is really hard for you, if this is uncomfortable, you can also do legs up the wall here. If you're comfortable in your where you are right now, please stay there. If you want to do legs up the wall, bring yourself up to a wall and just have your legs come up the wall. Slowly bring ourselves down, whether you're in your supported waterfall or legs up the wall. And just come into a supported bridge pose. Now let's lift up the hips. Bring our bolster under the knees. And just let the knees drop side to side. And after you've done that a few times, just rest your knees on top of your bolster. Come into your Savasana. Let your body rest. And just sink deep into this moment of compassion. Let your breathing become shallow. Let yourself melt into this moment. Maybe place your left hand on your heart. Bring your right hand on your solar plexus. Find your breath as you're laying down. Breathe into the heart center. sending yourself some unconditional love, acceptance, compassion for where you're at in this moment. Maybe bring to mind right now someone, or maybe there's been a few people that you haven't been very compassionate with during this time. And I want you to bring them into your mind, into your heart center, and just send them love and compassion right here, energetically, from your heart to them. So it might even be somebody you don't know. Maybe it's somebody in the media, or maybe it's somebody in our government, or maybe it's somebody out there. I want you to just send them some unconditional love and acceptance. And maybe it's somebody in your own family. Remember, we are all in this together, but we are all having different experiences. Send your love, send your compassion, and then just rest. Deep breath in. Exhale fully. When you feel ready, you can begin to awaken your body and wiggle your toes and fingers. Stretch your body. Awaken to this new moment with new understanding, with new compassion. Bring yourself up to your easy pose or a seated posture that's comfortable for you. And bring your hands to your heart center. And with much gratitude, thank you all for joining me tonight. Remember, compassion starts with yourself. Love starts with yourself. And then you're able to share it with those around you. Be compassionate during this crisis. Namaste.